So y'all know I'm reading the book, The American Slave Coast, A History of the Slave Breeding Industry, and how it breaks down essentially the creation of each of the states on the East Coast, right? It gets to Florida, and it talks about how it was a place where enslaved people ran away to. Now, I had read this before, right? And considering what Florida is today, and nothing against Florida aside from its governor, I'm from Florida, okay? I found it hard to believe that it was once a slave haven, so I let my ADHD brain run free, and I went on a hunt Friday night at 10 p.m., and I learned some stuff. Let's talk. Florida's purchase by the United States in 1819 from Spain was to keep runaway slaves from running to Florida. Nice to feel wanted, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Now, the history. Apparently, for Spain, Florida was a struggling military post, okay? It was plagued with a variety of issues. It was attacked by everyone, including pirates. We've got natural disasters, high hurricane season, and diseases. Yeah. But it had strategic significance. It stood between South Carolina and the Bahamas, which at the time was very important to England. And, England and Spain was always in a fight. First, Spain would raid English settlements and bring back enslaved people, which angered Britain. And to further destabilize British colonization, in 1693, Charles II of Spain freed ex-slaves and made Florida an official sanctuary, encouraging runaway slaves from the British colonies to come to St. Augustine. It was really a win-win for Spain. Spain needed men in Florida to resist English expansionism. Black men could fight. This decree brought about the arrival of many more black men from the nearby British colonies. Yeah. It was a serious source of contention between South Carolina, what would become Georgia, Britain, and Spain. Especially South Carolina. Like, they were a little bit desperate. They would beg and plead, and they offered to pay. What do we have to do for you to send us our enslaved people back? We'll pay you. We have money. And when money didn't work, they turned to raiding parties. But it really didn't matter. Every couple of years, Spain revisited their policy on runaway slaves, and it always came back to, if you convert to Catholicism, be a productive member of society. Be an indentured servant for like 4 years. We got you. We got you. And even though Spain officially ended its policy of welcoming people fleeing from slavery in other colonies and countries in 1790, because they got a new governor who bowed to the will of the United States government, a steady stream of people continued to cross the unguarded border from the United States and either settled near Seminole villages or established their own small settlements. After the American Revolution, the United States Army kept invading Spanish Florida until the Adams-Onis Treaty. The United States renounced all claims to Texas in exchange for Florida. And before the United States took possession of Florida, Hundreds of Black Seminoles and others sailed for Cape Florida, or sailed from Cape Florida to the Bahamas to avoid being returned to bondage. And my grandmother and her family, they're from the Bahamas.